On the shores of what is now Lake Turkana in northern Kenya, a team of archaeologists has uncovered an extraordinary window into the deep past, a trail of fossilized footprints etched into hardened sediments more than 1.5 million years ago. These impressions, though silent and fragile, speak louder than words. They tell us that the distinct hominin species Homo erectus, the direct ancestor of modern humans, and Paranthropus boisei, a robust and distant cousin, once walked side by side across this landscape. For decades, paleoanthropologists have pieced together fragments of bones, teeth, and tools to reconstruct the lives of early humans. Yet footprints are different. They capture a fleeting moment in time, a snapshot of behavior, movement, and presence that bones alone cannot convey. Unlike fossils that tell us what creatures were, footprints tell us what they did. They mark paths once traveled, reveal group dynamics, and show how ancient beings interacted with their world. This discovery, therefore, is not just a matter of stones and imprints in ancient mud. It is a profound reminder that our evolutionary story was not linear, nor solitary. It was shared, complex, and dynamic. A landscape of life 1.5 million years ago. To understand the significance of these footprints, one must picture Lake Turkana, not as the arid desert it is today, but as a lush, thriving environment. Over 1 million years ago, this region teemed with life. Vast grasslands stretched across the horizon, interspersed with patches of woodland and freshwater streams feeding into the Great Lake. Herds of antelope, elephants, and even prehistoric giraffes grazed along the shores. Predators, saber-toothed cats, giant hyenas, and early lions stalked in the shadows. Amidst this ecological drama walked hominins, Homo erectus, taller and leaner, adapted for endurance running and long-distance travel. With a brain larger than earlier species, they were toolmakers, fire users, and pioneers of migration. Paranthropus boisei, stockier and more specialized, with massive jaws and teeth adapted for chewing tough vegetation. Known as the nutcracker man, this species thrived on roots, tubers, and fibrous plants. Both species shared the same environment, but likely occupied different ecological niches. One was adaptable, inventive, and mobile. The other specialized, resilient, and deeply tied to the landscape's plant resources. The footprints now confirm what bones and tools alone could only suggest, that they truly lived alongside each other, moving across the same terrain, leaving marks in the same mud. Unearthing the past, the discovery the excavation site on Lake Turkana reveals a flat expanse of hardened sediment, cracked by time, yet still preserving delicate traces of ancient life. Archaeologists crouch low to the ground, brushing away sand with care, exposing outlines that resemble modern human footprints: heels, arches, and toes, frozen in place. Each print is measured with precision. A ruler placed beside them shows their scale, some small, some large, hinting at individuals of different ages and perhaps even sexes. The impressions are deep enough to suggest soft, moist ground at the time they were made, perhaps after rainfall, when hominins walked along the shoreline. Unlike isolated footprints found in other parts of the world, this site preserves multiple trails crossing paths. Some prints appear parallel, suggesting individuals walking together in groups. Others crisscross, hinting at chance encounters or movement through shared territory. The diversity of prints matches the known anatomical differences between Homo erectus and Paranthropus boisei, leading researchers to conclude that this is the first definitive evidence of these two species existing in the same place at the same time. Shared space, shared challenges. What does it mean that these two species walked the same land? The implications are vast. First, it reveals that early hominin landscapes were not exclusive. Just as different primate species today can share habitats, baboons, verved monkeys, and colobus monkeys, for example, so too did early humans and their relatives. But sharing a landscape did not mean living harmoniously. Their interactions may have ranged from neutral coexistence to direct competition. Competition for resources, while Paranthropus boisei specialized in plant-based diets. Overlap likely occurred in gathering fruits, tubers, or even access to water. Homo erectus, omnivorous and tool-using, may have had the advantage in exploiting a wider variety of foods. Predator avoidance. Both species needed to stay vigilant against large carnivores. Moving in groups, traveling together, or following similar trails might have offered safety in numbers. Asterisk cultural encounters, though unlikely to have shared language or culture as we know it. Encounters between groups of Homo erectus and Paranthropus boisei could have been marked by curiosity, avoidance, or even hostility. Though the footprints cannot tell us about the nature of these encounters, their very proximity in time and space demands we consider the interactions that may have shaped their behavior. Did the presence of one species influence where the other chose to forage or travel? Did they avoid each other, or did they compete fiercely for limited resources? The answers to these questions lie somewhere between the lines etched in stone, waiting for us to decipher. The footprints ultimately show not conflict or cooperation directly, but coexistence. Both species were real, present, and active in this environment, leaving behind tracks of survival. The broader significance of footprints. Why are footprints so important in paleoanthropology? Unlike bones, which tell us about anatomy, or stone tools, which tell us about technology, footprints capture movement, behavior, and interaction. Other famous hominin footprints, such as those at Lutoli in Tanzania, dated to 3.6 million years ago, show that early Australopithecus afarensis already walked upright. The Turkana footprints, however, tell a different story. They reveal not the first steps of bipedalism, but the coexistence of multiple hominin lineages in a shared landscape. These imprints also help scientists reconstruct gait, weight distribution, and even speed of movement. By analyzing the depth of the heel or the angle of the toes, researchers can estimate how fast individuals were walking, whether they carried loads, or if they traveled in groups. In the case of Turkana, the variation in size suggests family groups, adults and juveniles perhaps moving together. If footprints could speak, what stories would they tell? Perhaps tales of survival, of navigating a changing world, of adapting to the rhythms of nature, of sharing resources, and perhaps even of enduring hardship. Each step, each stride, each pause and turn becomes a chapter in an ancient tale. And like all stories, it unfolds across time, leaving us richer for its telling. Echoes of daily life. It is tempting, when gazing at these footprints, to imagine the scene 1.5 million years ago. A small group of Homo erectus moves steadily along the lakeshore, scanning for resources, tools in hand. Their strides are long and purposeful. Nearby, a cluster of Paranthropus boisei forages for roots and plants, pausing to kneel and dig. The two groups notice each other across the open ground. They do not speak, nor do they interact beyond glances. Yet their lives are entwined, both shaped by the same landscape, both facing the same challenges of survival. The footprints left behind are not just impressions in mud, but traces of these fleeting encounters. They are whispers of daily life, frozen in stone for modern humans to uncover. What happened next? Despite their coexistence, the evolutionary fates of Homo erectus and Paranthropus boisei diverged dramatically. Homo erectus would go on to spread far beyond Africa, reaching as far as Asia and Europe. They thrived for over 1 million years, laying the groundwork for later species, including Homo sapiens. Paranthropus boisei, however, followed a more constrained path. Their specialized diet, once an advantage, may have become a vulnerability as climates shifted and environments changed. Around 1 million years ago, they disappeared from the fossil record, leaving no descendants. The footprints at Turkana, then, are not just evidence of coexistence, but also of divergence. They capture a moment before one lineage flourished and the other vanished, a legacy in stone today, as scientists kneel in the hot sun, carefully brushing away sediment to reveal these delicate traces. They are not just studying ancient mud. They are uncovering the legacy of beings who once lived, breathed, and struggled across the same earth we now inhabit. Each footprint is a message from the past, reminding us that human evolution was not the story of a single triumphant species, but of many lineages overlapping, competing, and coexisting. It was messy, dynamic, and profoundly interconnected. The Turkana footprints are rare, but they illuminate a truth that bones and tools alone cannot, that our ancestors were never alone. Their world was shared with cousins, competitors, and companions who walked the same ground and gazed upon the same horizon. Conclusion: the discovery of fossilized footprints belonging to both Homo erectus and Paranthropus boisei at Lake Turkana is more than an archaeological find. It is a story of coexistence, competition, and divergence written in stone. It forces us to reconsider how we view human evolution not as a straight ladder leading to us, but as a branching tree with many paths, many walkers, and many journeys that ended before ours began. These footprints, preserved by chance and revealed by science, remind us of the shared journey of all hominins. They are echoes of feet long vanished, yet still walking with us across time.